everybody. Welcome to Guess What? It's Gluten Free. I'm your host, Shannon Trelease, and the weather's finally getting nice out, so we are going to be making burgers. But first, to get started, we're going to work on our corn. So we're going to do a roasted corn today. Most people kind of do like a boiling pot of water with some salt, and you put the corn with the full husk in, and then you peel it. We're not doing that. It's going to be super, super, super easy. So all you do is peel a little bit. You don't want to take the whole husk off because then your corn will cook too fast and burn. You want to cook it inside of some of the husk. And I set the oven to 350 degrees. Then you just cut the end off, put it on your baking sheet, and in they go. And it's kind of like a put it in and forget it type thing because that will be ready when you smell it. There's no set time that I can recall. It's more I know by the scent as soon as it comes out. So next we're going to do the filling to our burgers. So we're going to be doing a stuffed turkey burger. And we're doing a turkey burger because it cuts a lot of that heavy, heavy grease from the cheeseburger when you cook it indoors. And we're going to be stuffing it with bacon, cream cheese, feta, and we're going to cut up a jalapeno. So you just want to cut the end off, cut it in half, take the back of your spoon and right into the garbage. Clean, all done. Do it with your next one. Because cooking should be fun and easy, not complicated. All right. And then we're going to kind of dice these up into small pieces. So this recipe actually came from, there was a cooking competition that involved cream cheese. And I thought, you know, being somebody who was gluten-free, I wasn't always gluten-free. Back in the day, I did not know that I couldn't eat gluten. And I loved jalapeno poppers. So I thought, wouldn't it be delicious to make a burger with a jalapeno popper type filling? And then that's where this recipe came from. I didn't win, but it definitely became one of our family favorites. So I'll show you why I'm putting them in little dishes in just a second. We're just going to get this next piece of pepper going. And the reason why I'm doing the filling first is because we're going to roll them into little balls. So this way, when we have to stuff the burger, all we have to do is pop it right in, smush it down, and then it's ready to cook. And then you don't really have to go through like a whole lot of steps and a whole lot of fuss. So with the warm weather coming, I know it's not, ideal to be cooking inside, but for me, with stuffed burgers, especially with these type of stuffed burgers, I like that if the cheese kind of pops out or something, I have a little more control of where it's going, and you can kind of maybe, put it on top or leave it as a side, because who doesn't love a little bit of fried cheese? Okay. All right. And we're going to put this to the side because we're going to use it in a little bit. We'll put our little balls on there. So what you want to do, take a spoon. Make sure your hands are clean. I washed my hands before I started, I promise. Take a scoop of cream cheese. It's room temperature cream cheese because you need to be able to work with it. And you're going to roll it. And then you're going to roll it into the feta. And then you're going to roll it into the jalapeno. And you got to kind of work it in. See? Just like that. And then, last but not least, you roll it in the bacon. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's going to be on the inside. So it's more about it being oozy-goozy and tasting good when you bite into it. So now that I have all that on there, I'm just going to roll, 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 roll. And now I have my little cream cheese popper ball. And set it aside. And we're going to do 4 of these. So in the meantime, I want to give a little shout out to Stephen and Kate that are here today and help me do some of the prep work for the show. We're not going to do your everyday burger where we put it on, gluten-free bread, I should say, because it's a gluten-free show, but you're not going to be putting it on a bun. We're going to be using lettuce wraps. And I was explaining to them before the show that you kind of wrap it like a little burrito, because some people think like lettuce wraps, that's so messy, that's, it's so hard to hold and stuff. If you have a big enough piece of lettuce, you could really roll anything in there and keep it together. It doesn't necessarily have to go all over the place. And like some restaurants do that. When I traveled to California with a friend of mine, we went to In-N-Out Burger. And they had 2 versions of burgers that you can get. You can get like a regular one and you order it, whatever. And then there's another one called Animal Style. Now, Animal Style has like sauteed onions and mushrooms, and it's wrapped in these gigantic lettuce leaves, like prehistoric style, huge leaves. And it's delicious, and it was so easy to eat, and it was really refreshing and just awesome. And you can use any type of lettuce you like. Today I'm going to be using iceberg lettuce. You could use romaine if you're getting, if you like it a little more like a sandwich, or even the Boston lettuce that is a little easier to roll up, and it already comes kind of like a cup, so you just pop it right in. Right, these are looking good. And if you guys have any burger recipes that, you would like to share with us, please send me an email at thetrellisefamily@gmail.com. I would love to hear what your ideas are and what your, what you guys are kind of playing around with. Now, let's talk turkey chop meat. I'm going to get that out in a second after I put this to the side and wash my hands. So turkey chop meat is notorious for having like no flavor, and you always got to like add a lot of things to it. So I'm going to show you today how you can kind of jazz it up without it being super complicated, and it'll taste really yummy, and you could really go anywhere you like with it. You could do, especially for like tacos or things like that. Okay, let me just clear the counter, because this is going to be messy. Give my hands a wash. Soap. All right. And I don't know if you guys can see the artwork behind me, but this is what I got for Mother's Day from my son Jackson, my daughter Lily, and my son Noah. They put a lot of love and a lot of thought into those, and I really I like seeing them. It's super cute to me. I hope you all out there had a good Mother's Day. Okay, into the garbage these go. Wipe, wipe, wipe. Okay, turkey chop meat. Let's get going. So, I don't know if you can see this here, but it's looking pretty blah. It needs some love. So we're going to grab some garlic, some chili powder, and some cumin. We're going to do a little sprinkle chili powder. It gives it that really super smoky taste. We're going to do some cumin. Not too much, because you don't want it to taste like tacos. You just want to add a little like, what is that flavor? A little garlic. Okay. Pepper. Salt. All right. Let me just get a little dish to put these on. All right, here we go. So we're only going to be doing 4 burgers today, but if you get a crowd, this would be a huge crowd pleaser too. You can make a lot out of these. So we're going to mix it up. You don't need to overmix it. You just want the flavors to get distributed. Okay, so since we're doing 4, we're going to go down with one hand this way, and then we're going to go over. And now we have the same amount of meat for each burger. All right. So with the hand that I did not touch the turkey meat with, I'm going to show you a little trick for stuffing burgers. So I got a piece of plastic wrap, and I have a jar container top. I'm going to put the plastic wrap into the container top. I'm going to grab a portion of my meat and pack it in. We're going to squish it down. And then with our knuckle, we're going to make a little divot right in the middle. We're going to take one of our balls, we're going to put it in, and then we're going to take the remainder of the meat and put it on top. Now, I know when a lot of you hear stuffed burgers, you're like very intimidated, like, whoa, how am I going to do that? Do you see how easy that was to do? Watch this. Now we're going to pop it out. It's just like at a restaurant. Okay, 1 down, 3 to go. Just going to do the same thing with each piece. And you could do this with chicken too. I thought about getting the chicken for today. I just like the idea of doing like a leaner meat for this. Do our little divot, our yummy little ball of goodness. And sometimes, like, if it seems like the burger is really difficult to get to smush together, you can go around with like a little bit of water in your finger and just make sure that the edges are, you know, are combining and becoming one full burger. Okay. And I know they look pretty big, but it's okay. Everything in moderation. All right, burger number 3. Take out a little of the middle. So our family really likes to grill during the summer, even if it rains. And sometimes we even grill in the winter. But, you know, usually summertime is when everybody gets the grilling bug and wants to go outside. And you could do these on the grill, I guess, maybe if you froze them for a little bit, so this way when they cook, they didn't fall apart immediately. I had this in the refrigerator for a while just so it would firm up and be a little bit easier to handle. But it's something to kind of play around with. Because turkey burgers aren't usually the most, they don't stay together quite like chopped meat when you put them on the grill at first. You usually get a few stragglers that fall through the grates. All right, one more. Okay. And there's a little left in there, and you know what? I'm going to save that, and I'm going to use it for tacos for a different day because we already did a similar seasoning profile, so it's like I'm ahead of the game. So I'll just pop that. If I have them tonight, I will save it and just put it in the fridge, and if I save it for a later date, I'll put it in the freezer. Multitasking, people. It's great. All right. Garbage. This I'm going to give a wash just in case. Just going to give my hands a rinse. Whenever you handle any type of meat, you always want to make sure that you wash your hands in between. I know everybody says that, but it's true because you'd be surprised at how quickly it could spread all over your kitchen. All right. So now we're going to get ready to cook these. So in a skillet, a large skillet, over like medium heat. Let me just turn this guy on. Okay. You want to put a little bit of olive oil because if you cook with any type of poultry, chicken or turkey, it's missing a lot of the fat. So you need to give it a little fat so when you cook it, it's going to crisp up and you'll still get that nice caramelized, brown, crispy outside coating on each piece. Now while that's happening, we're going to make some coleslaw. So in a bowl, and you can just go ahead and use the same thing. All you did was cut a vegetable on here. Don't have to worry about any of that. Okay. We're going to do some purple cabbage, some green cabbage, some carrots. Where's my onion? and a quarter of an onion. Okay. Now, if you wanted to, you could do this in a food processor. Really, that depends on the type of slice that you like with your cabbage. And typically what I like to do is peel back the first couple leaves, just because sometimes they're a little wilty or, they're not like the freshest. If you have a compost bin, you can put it in your compost bin. Okay, we're going to cut this guy in half. And then we're going to do really thin, and I'm talking thin, like get as close to it as you can. And you can also blanch your cabbage if you like. Blanching is when you have a pot of boiling water, and then you put in the vegetable, and you cook it for like a few seconds, and then you have a side of ice water. So you take the vegetable out, and then you throw it into the ice water to shock it. But I kind of like coleslaw to be like rustic and raw and just, super crunchy. So I skip that part. Okay, that is not quite there. I'm going to turn up the heat a little. All right. So I don't know if you saw what I did there. I'm doing really thin slices of the purple cabbage. And then after I have it cut, I'm cutting it again in half one more time. So it's not these like, when you eat it, it's not these like spaghetti-like strands of cabbage. And you can do any sides you want. We were just talking before the show about French fries. Typically, I don't do French fries, but we were talking about how you can really turn anything into a French fry. It doesn't have to be a potato. You can make carrot fries. You can make parsnip fries. You can make yucca fries. I don't know if you've ever had yucca. It's pretty delicious. It's really anything you like. You just have to make sure they're super dry, and you don't have to fry them. You can bake them and just keep turning them until they're really, really, really crispy. All right, this guy looks good. I think we have enough purple cabbage. Okay, let's get some cut to the green. Put that to the side. Let's check this. No, not there yet. It'll be there soon. So with the green cabbage, you want to do the same thing. Just peel the first few leaves off. Cut it kind of in half. I'm going to do a smaller piece on that. All right. And then we're going to cut super thin pieces. Now this coleslaw, sometimes coleslaw is like super mayo drenched, and other times it's just the vinegar base. I kind of do a combination of both. I just like the way it tastes. And I like that little bite from the vinegar, and I like the little bit of creaminess from the mayo. You could also do this with like blue cheese dressing instead of mayo, or maybe like light ranch dressing. Really, it's whatever you want. I mean, you can really do anything with coleslaw. It doesn't have to be just vegetables. Some coleslaws have like raisins in them, grapes, things like that. I mean, the possibilities are endless. It's really just a bowl of shredded cabbage with like some vegetables and fruit, if you like, added to it. It's just one of those type of meals, side dishes. I guess you can tell what I really like to secretly eat. All right. There we go. And now we're just going to put, I'm going to cut up the onion, and then we're going to peel some carrot right into the bowl. Whoa, we've made quite a mess on the counter. So with the onion, I know I've said this before, but you want to leave the little hairy end on because that will help you. And with the onion, you do not want those thin pieces with like the shreds. You want itty bitty diced pieces because nobody wants a huge bite of onion, raw onion in their food. So I just sliced, and then I held my fingers up here and I sliced through. And now when I cut it up, it's going to be perfect little dices. See, I don't know if you guys can see that on my knife. So it makes it pretty effortless. You don't have to like think so much about how you're cutting your vegetables. And I say that because that's what I used to do before I learned these types of techniques. Is I used to have to think a lot, how did those people get it like that? And, you know, why are all my knife cuts not the same? A lot of it is just practice. And then, but once you get it, man, you got it. And you just keep going with it. You don't have to worry about it. All right, these beautiful pieces, I'm just going to put to the side, out of the way. Okay, let's clear this cutting board. Check the heat on our pan. Ah, perfect. Okay, before we do the carrots, we're going to get our burgers into the pan. So you see how it's kind of, that's what we want. So we're going to take this, and it's going to get hot. I'm going to lower the heat a little. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. All right. One last wash. So I know it looks like, holy cow, that's a lot of smoke. It's not on fire. It's just the moisture coming out of the burger, and it's going to make all that nice caramelization on the underside. Now you're going to want to play with it, and you're going to want to touch it, and you're going to want to look at it. Don't. Just leave it alone. Just walk away. It is like one of the hardest things to start to learn to do, but just leave it. So we're going to take our peeler. I promise you, you're thinking about how could she walk away from it. It'll happen. It'll happen on its own. If you move it a lot, it's actually going to start to steam itself, and then you're never going to get that nice crispy piece, and it falls apart a lot easier. All right, so we're going to move on to the carrots. So I already cut these, and I peeled off the outside layer, and I'm just going to shred them right into the bowl. Now for toppings, you know, because you're going to have to flip these eventually, and you have a lot of time to keep working on stuff. For toppings, I have here some avocado and some tomatoes, since you're already going to be putting it on lettuce. But, I mean, really, you could do whatever you want. You could do maybe like a mango chutney, or maybe, you know, some fried prosciutto, or fried prosciutto as a topping. But, you know, it's all right. It can be. Really, just get adventurous. Cooking in the kitchen should be like a fun adventure every time you cook. You shouldn't be scared to try new things. Because you know what? If you don't like it, then you know you don't like it. If you don't try it, you'll never know. All right. Looking good here. And this, if you feel comfortable with it, this is a good, if you have a kid in the kitchen with you, this is a good thing for the kid to do. Because they can't really, if they're holding it up here, they can't really cut themselves. I have cut myself before on a peeler, but, you know, live and learn where to hold it, where to not. Ooh. You know what, that looks good. I don't even think I need the second carrot. So my hands are clean, you saw me wash them. So now we're going to just do a flip to get everybody mixed a little. Okay, now let's get a little dressing going. No need to be fancy. Just grab a cup. We are going to do a little red wine vinegar. And when I say a little, you know, there's no specific measurements, just eyeball it. A little garlic powder, a little scoop of mayonnaise. Just going to check these guys out. They're looking good. Okay, So this is about like a generous tablespoon. Maybe you can call it like 2 tablespoons. And we'll just use that spoon to mix it. We're going to do some salt. We're going to do some pepper. And mix. If you have a jar or something that you can put this in and put a lid on and shake it, even better. All right. So now I'm going to get my tongs, get my spatula out too. Okay, let's do this. So I'm just going to pour this over and lightly dress it. A little goes a long way with dressings. A lot of people don't realize that. And then you get like soggy things that are overdressed and they're just like heavy and all you taste is dressing with like a crunchy bite to it, I guess. Where this is like you really want to taste the vegetables, so just dress it really lightly. See, that wasn't a lot, and look, as you can see, like as I'm doing it, it's already pretty coated. All right, side, done. We'll leave these there for serving. Check our burgers. They're almost ready to flip. With turkey burgers, you want to make sure that they are cooked all the way through. Okay, peeler gone. Oh, time went so fast today. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. I hope you join us next time on Guess What? It's Gluten-Free.